All right, so this is our first problem for using the distributive property. So whenever we see these parentheses like this with a variable on the inside and then a number directly on the outside, we know that we need to use the distributive property. For those of us that don't know what the distributive property is, that means, let's say we have x on the outside and then a plus b on the inside. That means I'm going to multiply the x by everything that's on the inside. So x times a, so I'll say x times a plus x times b. And the way we would actually write this, just to make it a little bit better, would be ax plus bx, just to be a little bit nicer on the eyes. So this is basically what distributing is. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to determine, okay, what are we going to multiply? First off, we know that we have a negative 12 here. So make sure whenever you have that sign that's in front of the number, we have to keep it there. So always pay attention to that sign that's in front of that number. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to distribute. So I'm going to multiply negative 12 times x, which is going to give me negative 12x, and then negative 12 times positive 5, which is going to give me negative 60. So notice how I multiplied that negative 12 by both things. And then I'm going to bring down the 144 because I didn't do anything to that yet. Now, if you notice, this is just like a two-step equation. So this is exactly the same as a two-step equation that we just did. So make sure, if you see something like this, don't get frustrated or look at it and say that you can't do it, because there's just one extra step. All you had to do was multiply. Now, the next thing that we have to do is just the same thing we did last time. Combine like terms. So I'm going to add 60 to both sides. And that's going to give me 204 equals negative 12x. And then from here, we know that we need to use the inverse operations again, just like we did this first step where we added 60. And when we do that, we're going to divide by, again, remember the negative 12. So 204 divided by negative 12. A positive divided by a negative is going to give me a negative. And then those two numbers divided together give you 17. So negative 17 equals x. And then whenever I make my solution, I put x equals first. And then so x equals negative 17. All right, so how do we check our work? All we have to do is plug in that negative 17 into the original equation. So 144 equals negative 12. And then instead of x, we're going to put negative 17 plus 5. All right, let's see what we get. So I'm going to bring down the 144. And then here we have to do order of operations. So I'm not going to distribute here. I'm just going to take whatever's in the parentheses and I'm going to combine that first. So I'm going to bring down the 12 and then the parentheses, so negative 17 plus 5 is going to give me negative 12. And then when you have a number on the outside of a parenthesis and a number on the inside of the parenthesis, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to multiply. So those parentheses mean multiply. So 144 and then negative 12 times negative 12 is positive 144. So this is how we know we did it correctly, because we have 144 equals 144. That is a true statement.